Hey everyone, and welcome to our second episode of MCUEx, your number one source of MCU news, reviews, and discussion. I'm Addie Bree Hayes, and with me today I have Jeremy Stewart.
Yep, that's me.
And Doug Herring.
Hey everybody.
Now Doug?
So you might have noticed if you watched last week's episode that our setup's a little bit different, and hopefully our audio's a little bit better. We really love the feedback that you guys gave us in the YouTube and Facebook comments, so keep that coming because we want to make this the best show for you, and the only way we can do that is if you let us know what you think. So hopefully this is better, and next week it'll be even better.
Awesome.
All right, what do we got first?
Great, so first on today's show, the weekly headlines, where we run down the biggest news of the week and get in as much discussion as possible before the timer runs out. Our first story of the day, on Sunday, over 100 million Americans tuned in to watch Super Bowl 50. During the game, we got a brand new 40-second teaser for Captain America Civil War, showcasing the two teams facing off. Marvel also teamed up with Coke to create a spot featuring Ant-Man and the Hulk battling over a can of Coke. In 90 seconds, let's talk about these two ads.
First off, Mini Coke, which I think are adorable.
Yes.
And that, I mean, the biggest thing for me is they're releasing those like limited release. Like you have to be on their Twitter to find out.
Yeah, they have like clues and a scavenger hunt to figure out how to get them.
I want to collect them so much.
I really like.
The Ant-Man one was the coolest.
Yeah, I like what they did with all the character eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Cap shield as his eyes looks a little
scary.
dopey, but I think all the other ones, the Black Widow one and the Ant-Man, were really, really good.
Yeah, but about the spot.
Yes.
So the trailer, which we talked about last week, what we wanted to see, I think we got a pretty good mix of like nothing really.
I was gonna say you got your wish. We really we got that cool those two lineup shots of both teams.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Now
No Spider-Man. Thank
no
God.
Spider-Man, but I think Spider-Man will be in that shot in the final version.
I think so too.
Because I remember with Age of Ultron, they had that big circle shot when they were all in the church, and Vision and the twins had been edited out for the teasers, but they were there in the final shot.
Which
so
is perfect. Which is exactly like I don't want to see him until I'm in a theater and it's dark and I have because I love seeing movies opening night, and when it's one of those things where like there will be a cheer from me in my Captain America shirt and everyone else around me just being like, this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, like when Vision picks up Mjolnir in Age of Ultron.
Yeah. And then also in the Hulk and Ant-Man spot, I love how they're pushing Ant-Man because he's only been in one movie now, and
yes, they really seem to be happy with how that character has been received.
Well, because that movie
Paul
was
Rudd is
phenomenal.
great.
Yes. For what it was so perfect. And Michael Pena, but
I love Michael Pena. Okay,
that'll be another day. We gotta move on.
What's next?
All right, while Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. won't return until March 8th, Entertainment Weekly has released a synopsis and title for the mid-series premiere. The synopsis of the episode, titled Bouncing Back, is as follows. In the aftermath of his trip to Maveth, sorry guys, Coulson is more determined than ever to get to Gideon Malik and put an end to Hydra once and for all. Daisy and the team encounter more Inhumans who have powers like they've never seen before, but will they be friends or enemies of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Guys, what do you think we can expect from the return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Let's put 90 seconds on the clock and discuss.
Okay, so I think the title and the synopsis give us some really interesting info. A while back, I don't think it was confirmed, but it was basically confirmed about, what's her name?
Natalia Cordova-Buckley.
Yeah, her. Being cast.
That's what it is.
Right. She was cast as Yo-Yo Rodriguez, who Slingshot is, part of the Secret Warriors.
Superpower is that she, for those who don't know, is that she can travel faster than humanly possible, but she always returns the same place.
She slingshots back to where she started.
That's such a cool power.
Yeah, so bouncing back and encountering new Inhumans,
yeah.
I think it's pretty much a safe bet to say that we're going to see her.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the new Inhumans because it feels like that's what happened last season, and it feels like that's what happened the season before, and I get that there's not a lot, like that's kind of the direction the show's taken, but I'm worried it's going to be again, meet new Inhumans. They resist at first. Got to get them on our side.
You just don't like it because you weren't cast as Lincoln.
Yeah, this is true. This is very,
Guys,
very
we
true.
have the exact.
We have Luke Mitchell joining us today.
I fucking wish. Pardon the language. I'm gonna shut up now.
But I see what you're saying. What was his name? Oh no, I'm forgetting his character in the first episode. Tommy? No.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What was his name?
Who joins in the end?
You can look it up.
We'll get back to you with the name, but
it's too late.
keep going.
He was in like the first episode, and then he was in like one of the last episodes of the season, and I felt he was really underutilized. Hopefully that will change as we start.
I think he's going to be a new
Okay, I feel terrible for forgetting his name, but that just shows how underutilized he was.
Yeah.
Can you look up his name before we move on?
Right now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Actually, read out the next question.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, no, go ahead.
We're just gonna push.
He's just
through.
gonna sim.
Whatever his name is, we're sorry for forgetting it.
I'm so sorry. We'll say it the next episode. We'll make sure.
Okay.
We'll get it.
We'll get it by the end.
All right. Season 2 of Daredevil is set to premiere in a little over a month, and Netflix has released a brand new teaser for the season featuring the voice of Punisher. The new pieces of concept art featuring alternate version of Matt Murdock's suit have also surfaced online. How do these pieces of news affect our excitement for Season 2 of Daredevil? Let's put 90 seconds on the clock and discuss.
I love that teaser. I love seeing Daredevil with the red. The whole Netflix Marvel thing is like this watercolor, this dark watercolor feel
so nice.
that I love about the promos, because it's again my thing of not spoiling anything in the trailers, which they did.
They do
Daredevil
better
season
job.
1 was okay. Jessica Jones's promos were phenomenal that way, and this seems to be like they're really starting to figure out what works for them and what works for their audience, because their audience for Daredevil and Jessica Jones is a little bit different than, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Like, 8-year-olds aren't really going to be watching these shows. They're more for, young adults and above. Which I love the fact that they're leaning into that.
And I really loved the costumes.
The
promo
concept art.
Yeah.
You can totally see things they took from both and then made the one in the Netflix one.
Yeah, I thought one of them looked kind of a little too insect-like.
The all-red one?
Yeah, the all-red one was a little... By the way, it was Joey Gutierrez.
Good job.
There we go.
But,
sorry, Joey.
but no, I agree. I think I like this. The one of the two looked a lot like the one that we wound up getting.
Yeah.
The other one...
Well, they took the horns from the red one.
Yeah.
They added it to like the maroon.
And it'll be interesting to see how it works when it's filmed, because it's shot so darkly.
Right.
I'm guessing. No, it's. I mean,
it was just a weird word.
Yeah, but there's the lighting. There's so little light that'll be interesting to see when we actually see the horns. Because if he's standing in the shadows like he did all of season 1, you see his eyes because we have to, because it's on film, but they don't light the rest of it.
And the red might have looked like the all red one probably would have looked.
Well, I mean, I think we only got like 1 or 2 good shots of the final season in the last episode of season 1. So, all right, what's next?
We're about 2 years away from the premiere of Black Panther, but writing for the film is already underway. In a recent interview with Mother Jones, writer Robert Cole said the following: Black Panther is a historic opportunity to be a part of something important and special, particularly at a time when African Americans are affirming their identities while dealing with vilification and dehumanization. The image of a black hero on this scale is just really exciting. As the writer of the MCU's first film with a black lead, what do you guys think about Cole's remarks?
Well, so Cole also comes from the Marvel in-house program that the girl who wrote Guardians of the Galaxy kind of stems from as well. And he writes on the show American Crime Story, which has some really, really solid writing, especially dealing with a little bit darker, violent crime.
Yeah.
He's also doing Inhumans.
Yes, and he's also announced to be writing the Inhumans screenplay.
I think he was on for Inhumans before Black Panther.
Interesting.
I think he wrote a treatment for the Inhumans script, and then they really liked it, and then they tapped him to write
and if
Black
Marvel
Panther.
is having him do both, it means they definitely see something special, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the way they handle the Black Panther's home.
Wakanda.
Yes, I think it's gonna be so cool to see like what they create in that world.
Yeah, and actually on the article on MCUEx, which we'll link to in the description, we'll link to all these articles in the description of this video. But he does actually talk a little bit about how they're figuring out how to do this really futuristic but isolationist and kind of tribal country of Wakanda.
Oh, and they said that, and they also said that they're gonna try to use the country surrounding it or in the area that it's going to be placed.
Because the tie-in, the interesting thing is the Marvel universe has taken place in New York City, slightly America, a little bit of Eastern Europe with Age of Ultron,
a little bit of
and
the West
now
Coast,
Asia, South Korea,
and now we're starting to branch out to the rest of the world, which will be really interesting to see how they handle that, which is cool.
I completely agree.
Cool.
What's next?
Before moving on to our next story, I just want to let viewers know that this story potentially contains spoilers for Thor Ragnarok. If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead about 2 minutes to our next story. Okay.
Great.
According to a recent report from Latino Review, the all-seeing Heimdall will be playing a larger role. The report says Hela, the villain of the movie, lays the smackdown on the god of thunder, destroying his hammer and straight up murdering Heimdall. However, the final showdown with Hela will feature an army of the dead, commanded by the villainess doing battle with good Valkyries from Valhalla and the souls of the righteous fallen, including Heimdall. Guys, do you think this report is true? And if so, how does it change your expectations for Thor Ragnarok?
I think it's completely true. I
totally believe it.
I would love to see a character I love get killed off and see how that is then dealt with by the rest of the universe. I mean, we went over this last week about my undying love for Idris Elba.
Yes.
And I think as much as I want to see him in the rest forever on everything I ever watch, I also want to see him pull at some heartstrings for Thor and for the rest of the characters.
And also, he's been used so little in the past movies that, like, hopefully this is a very big role.
Yeah.
Well, just the idea of the final showdown being an army of the dead, that sounds awesome to me.
Sounds so good.
There's also I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but the theory that Heimdall either is or has the power of the Soul Stone,
a while ago,
which would make sense because from what some people, Feige and Scott Derrickson, have said about Doctor Strange, really looks like the Time Stone's going to play a role in Doctor Strange, maybe as like the Eye of Agamotto, which would only leave the Soul Stone left,
the last one,
and it would be orange. Heimdall's eyes are orange, and
I don't see it being anything else.
Right.
I mean, and also remember that Thor is looking for, or at least investigating, the appearance of these Infinity Stones, so it makes sense.
And I think it would be great
one
that
of the
it was
powers
something
of
that was right in front of him this whole time as well.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, one of the powers of the Soul Stone could be to see all the souls in the
like that's the thing. That
makes
Heimdall
total
is
sense.
just infinitely knowledgeable, and so it's interesting for. I'll do this as quick as I can. It's interesting for Asgard if they don't have him anymore, so they don't suddenly always know what's coming, and then also to see what happens when, like I said, he's just not there.
I also kind of think the backstory for Heimdall, if they somehow get a little bit more of that in.
I would love that.
Anything with more Heimdall, I think.
If he's like the soul.
Good.
Anything more is just great.
Yes. Okay, what's next?
All right. On Tuesday, the 5th episode of Agent Carter's 2nd season aired, titled The Atomic Job. The synopsis of the episode reads as follows. As Jarvis's precision and quick thinking skills are put to the ultimate test, Peggy must find a way to stop an atomic explosion that threatens to destroy all of California. Guys, what did we think of this episode?
I loved this episode.
It was so good. It was so good until the stupid love triangle.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. She was impaled.
Right.
Of course Sousa's gonna be like, oh no, Peggy, I used to have feelings for you. Through a look.
Violet can just magically tell that he's in love with.
And who he was running away from.
Even ignoring that. Even ignoring that stupid way to introduce the love triangle. Just the fact that they have to have a love triangle bothers the hell out of me. I hate love triangles, especially in a show like Agent Carter, because I think that Peggy and Jarvis have one of the best platonic male-female relationships on television, period.
And I love his wife.
And his wife's great, and I like Violet too. I think halfway through the season is a little late for me to care about a romantic subplot, but she and Sousa are cute together. I like Violet, I like Sousa, I like all these characters. So then when they just add this stupid bullshit love triangle in, it just really frustrates me.
Seeing her look at them, I was like, you are not doing this right now. And they did it.
Especially because the episode was so good up till that point. I loved the heist element.
And Jarvis.
I'm just going to move on past the love triangle because we could
Fair enough,
on it all day. The bit where she has the mind thing
with Hugh Jones,
and he keeps waking up.
Yes.
I mean,
the
it's
slapstick comedy in this episode.
Some of the comedy was so great.
Yes.
Like, and that's one of those things where I was watching it, I was like, I know what happens, and yet I still chuckled.
Yes.
And when you can do that, when there's an expectation and you surpass it like that, we're like, you know what's coming,
and it's still funny.
Yeah,
and it's so funny.
It reminded me of that scene in Men in Black when Agent K keeps flashy thinging. How many times have you flashy thing this poor woman? Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
And then, just to bring up another thing we talked about last week of the stakes of her dying, she got impaled, and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I was like, great, she's gonna be fine.
I did think about it, that I was like, oh my gosh, she was impaled, and then I was like, oh, wow.
I saw her hold on, I kind of, actually, we'll address this in a fan question that comes up later, I'll save that.
Okay.
Yeah, but she got impaled, and I was like, great.
Yeah, we know she's fine.
The thing is, 2 minutes later, it wasn't even the whole episode of her being in bed.
Right.
There's a phone call where Jarvis, I think it's Jarvis, was like, oh yeah, she's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Or Sousa,
well,
someone.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, Peggy, of course, is gonna be like,
well, true, but it's oh, it happened to miss all the vital organs. I was like, how?
Exactly.
What a coincidence.
Well, it's not as bad as Flash when Iris got hit with the glass, and then the next episode she's just like fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this isn't a DC show, but I completely agree with you.
That was
they're just
like,
as
one
bad.
of the ways.
Yeah, but overall,
I love the episode.
Also, the music choice for this episode was phenomenal.
That Reservoir Dogs shot, where they were walking in slow motion. By the way,
that was
great ragtag.
Again, that like ragtag shot of them doing like hero mode, and then the trip from the doctor and Jarvis just standing there,
like forgetting where he parked the car,
and then it was one of those things where I saw Sousa walk out of the door in slow motion. I was like, it's happening.
This is great.
It's happening in a big, big way.
By the way, I mentioned this in my review, but Dr. Samberly was played by one of my favorite comedians, Matt Bronger. If you don't know him, look up his Netflix special is Big Dumb Animal. I think he might have another on Netflix. I'm not sure.
Great.
It's hilarious. He's hilarious, and he was the lab tech in like the first episode or second episode.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we got to see him play.
And I like seeing Rose kind of kick ass.
Yeah, I love how she was actually like a fighter.
Yeah, and it was a nice little moment where Peggy called out Sousa on being just like Chad Michael Murray's character.
Yeah.
And being like,
I'm seeing Sousa, but I'm hearing Jack.
Yeah, and it was like,
burn.
Thanks, period pieces, but like, let's keep up with like the Peggy, just going for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's next?
Awesome. Our next segment this episode is our main discussion of the day, where we debate something about the future of the MCU. Today's discussion is inspired by several recent rumors about various characters dying in Captain America: Civil War. While these rumors may or may not be true, they bring us to an interesting question. Who should die in Civil War?
Addie, you want to start this one?
I don't think anyone should die, because when the war happens.
When Infinity War happens.
Yeah. Right? Oh yeah. Right. Duh. Because Civil War. When Infinity War happens, like, I don't want anyone to be dead.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Really big, and like, if one character dies in Civil War, then we're just like missing one person, and that would make me so sad. Like whoever it be, like Cap or freaking anyone. Like, I don't want to be missing Cap.
Right. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Where, and I'm gonna agree with you, sort of. Yes, the Infinity War Part 1 and 2 is supposed to be this big culmination of everything we've had in the MCU up to this point.
And if we're missing like one superhero,
sure, we want everybody to be teaming up. We want Rhodey, we want Hawkeye, we want all these disposable characters that could have been on the chopping block in the past. I'm probably unpopular saying this, I wouldn't mind seeing Quicksilver come back to fight Thanos. If Heimdall can be raised from the dead, Quicksilver can too.
That'd be kind of cool.
Okay, fair enough. But even disregarding that, there need to be some stakes in this movie. We saw in the Super Bowl ad, Bucky straight up tries to shoot Tony in the face, and Tony has that awesome like watch glove thing.
It's a sad face.
He looks so shocked. Right.
Phenomenal.
So clearly, people are out for blood in this movie. And if everybody's fine, that's the exact same problem that I had with Age of Ultron.
Yes.
It's breezy, there are no real stakes. So, I want somebody to die, but I don't want it to be a main hero.
No. Here's the problem.
Let you guys say who you're gonna.
Okay. Yeah. Who are you? Who are you killing?
I also kind of agree with you, of course.
Okay.
I'll let you.
We'll get to that. But I want somebody to die who we won't miss in Infinity War, but who will amplify the stakes of the movie. I want Hawkeye's family to die. Hawkeye's family in Age of Ultron.
It would make sense why he came back, I guess.
Right, okay, so Hawkeye, here's how I see it happening. Hawkeye's family in Age of Ultron was great. It humanized the character. It showed that he had something to come home to, something to fight for.
Love Linda Cardellini.
And yeah, she was great. His kids were fine. I don't know, wait. If they die, then they'd have to kill a baby.
Yeah, that's
baby Nathaniel.
true.
Whatever. Okay, I want his wife to die, or I want one of his kids to die. The old one, the boy. No, but here's why.
Go girls.
The Sokovia Accords, in the comics, they're the Superhero Registration Act, which makes the secret identities kind of public knowledge. Heroes in the MCU don't really have secret identities, but Hawkeye does have a secret. He has his secret family. So if he is sanctioned and controlled by this government body, I don't think they'd be able to keep his family completely off the books anymore.
Yeah.
So if, because of the Sokovia Accords, Crossbones or Baron Zemo or somebody finds out about his family and kidnap them or kill them in order to get to him, that's a perfect reason why Hawkeye should go on Cap's side fighting against these bullshit Sokovia Accords. It makes sense. It doesn't ruin Infinity War. Hawkeye's family should die.
Okay.
That's already
what do you
so
think,
much.
Jeremy?
Okay. Look, my problem with not killing anyone or killing someone that frankly not a lot of people care about.
I care.
Sure.
Do you know?
Is that it's fan service. Not killing anybody off is just fan service, and and this was my problem with Age of Ultron. I want a good movie before I want characters I love, because a good movie makes me love characters.
Fair enough.
And as much as I love these characters, I don't want to see Marvel just keep being like, well, we can't kill off him because merchandising or whatever,
so much.
because people love him.
Right.
And it happens in the comics. People come back to life all the time, which is another thing that the MCU is going to have to get to eventually. But for now, I want Captain America dead. I want him out. I want him gone. And this is from a filmmaking perspective, because that shatters the world.
Right.
It's my same thing with Heimdall. I want to see what effect that has on the rest of the characters, because Hawkeye's family dying affects Hawkeye.
Well, and then also
no,
no. I know. And then also, like, of course he's gonna join Cap's side because he wants he wants himself and his family to be a secret. That's already like a good enough excuse.
Yeah,
for
I'm not worried about Hawkeye.
So,
I'm also Hawkeye. Frankly, isn't powerful enough to change the tide of it. Like, great if you have him on your side, but if you don't,
I don't know, man.
Do you know what I mean?
He does have a bow and arrow,
but he's not Thor. He's not right.
Well, Thor
he's
isn't
not
there, so
he's not Vision. He's not Scarlet.
He's not one of the more powerful, little bit mystical characters.
Agreed.
He's a dude with a bow and arrow.
Yes, not even a crossbow.
No, yes.
I heard to say a crowbar. I was like,
he's a dude with a crowbar. No, but so my point being is that I love Chris Evans as Captain America.
I
don't think they could have chosen better. I don't think he could have done any better. But I want to see him out because I want to see, after him and Stark fight, I want to see what happens. I want to see Stark's world shattered. I want to see Bucky lose it. I want to see people deal in a very real way of the issue of the indestructible super soldier being destructible.
And also,
I hear what you're saying.
He's also like such a great person to have die, because like I think he's the one Avenger that's mutually loved by all of the cast.
So
Black Widow.
That actually goes to my point.
She's gonna just.
That goes to my point.
Everyone's gonna lose their mind
if Captain America dies in Civil War. A couple years from now, May of 2018, we're watching Infinity War Part 1. Mm-hmm. The Guardians of the Galaxy have just arrived on Earth.
Sure.
Right.
In fantasy, but whatever. Fucking Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Coulson and Daisy.
Coulson better be dead by then too.
Okay, whatever. But they're all there, lined up, ready to defend the galaxy from Thanos. it's not going to feel hollow if Captain America isn't there, if the first Avenger isn't there.
Okay, that's so true. But also, we can also kind of assume that probably Falcon or Bucky.
No, Bucky's taking up the mantle.
Sure, but he's not the first Avenger. But he's not the first Avenger.
Yes, no, of course he's not.
That's good.
But also,
that's
this comes back to them bringing characters back from the dead. Because if
they already do that too much, though.
But yes,
they do the fake out death too much.
Yes, I completely agree. But if I want to see Cap dead, you want to see him in Infinity War. If they kill him off Civil War, have a little thing where it's like, oh shit. Infinity War Part 2 comes around, the Avengers are getting just destroyed and have to rally. What better way of having Cap come back for one movie?
Yeah, but then what's the point of killing him? Why not?
The point of killing
delay
him
his death until Infinity War and kill him for good. Then kill Tony.
Because then what? Then Civil War just becomes another Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
it just becomes
not if Hawkeye's family does. If they murder a kid,
they already
they murdered Eastern Europe and it didn't matter. No. They destroyed Eastern Europe and no one cared.
Okay. Also, we already got our focus on Hawkeye. We got it last. It was great. I don't think they're gonna show the farm. More.
I agree. The
farm is compromised.
This isn't who I think is going to die. This is who I think should die.
Let's say both then. I think if we never mention Hawkeye's family again, it doesn't. No one cares. Frankly,
I care.
Linda Cardellini cares.
Linda Cardellini cares.
I really liked her.
Those children actors playing his son and daughter.
I want to see Nathaniel. I want to see the child actor that plays
I want Nathaniel to grow up and take Hawkeye's place. Except he can't because he's dead.
Okay, so maybe if it's not Cap, I want somebody major.
It has to be It would have to be like Iron Man.
And see, my problem with that is
that's the same thing. He started the MCU. Why are we going to leave him out of Infinity War?
We can't kill Black Widow because we have two females.
Also, diversity.
And you can't kill Scarlet Witch because she's brand new.
She's brand new, and her brother just died.
So let's hold on to her for.
I agree.
More
and the thing with killing Tony is that again, it's not as big of a bomb for the rest of the universe as it is killing Cap.
And then
I think Tony is a little divisive within the universe.
Okay, within the universe.
Not to us. We all love him.
And Cap in their universe is like the face of the Avengers.
Yeah, which is why I think seeing him gone and seeing what happens is going to be is again going back to my thing of. I want to see the best movie made before I want to see my favorite characters blow stuff up.
And he's the connection of the new Avengers and the old Avengers.
That's fair.
So like breaking that tie
and seeing what happens.
Wait. Are you moving over to his side now? Are you saying
I think I got her. I think I got her.
Sorry.
Yes.
Also, in the movie Civil War was called Fallen Sun before, right?
I'm sorry?
Wasn't
the original title?
The movie. Wasn't it originally going to be titled Fallen Sun?
I have no idea.
I read that in one of the articles.
I don't know about that. I know that Kevin Feige jokingly announced it as Serpent Society, but I don't know about that.
Isn't that the comic that they're taking a lot of this?
They're taking it from Civil War.
Oh.
It's its own
comic.
I
read Fallen Sun somewhere. They were taking some stuff from Fallen Sun. My bad. Maybe I'm hallucinating.
I think you are. Yes.
Sorry, guys. Hallucination.
On that note, let's move on.
On that note.
Sorry, I just had to log back on. For our final segment of the day, we're taking some of your questions from Facebook and Twitter and answering them on the show.
Yeah, thank you for sending them in and keep them coming because this is fun.
Yes.
I love doing this.
You have a question that you want to see answered, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and ask your question using the hashtag MCUEx. Okay. So, our first question is from Eric Watt Odogu on Facebook, who asks, I would like to know what you think Agent Carter's showrunners should have done differently, and if they get a third shot, what they should do to attract more eyeballs. Well,
So-
they're probably not gonna have a
Well,
third
here's
shot.
the thing: is that Haley Atwell just got cast in a new ABC show,
Which she's basically
But
doing the same role again.
The Variety
She's playing a character
article-
named Carter.
Yeah, the
Great.
Variety article does say that they're gonna end up splitting her time between both shows.
Right, if
They
both
said
get
they-
renewed.
Yeah, they
If both
say
get
if it
renewed.
happens, they will renew.
So there
them.
is that.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen either.
I think
what they should have done.
I
Go
think
for it.
the slapstick from this last episode,
Yeah.
they need to just go more with, because that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
Peggy and Jarvis. That's one of the best things about them. So I think they needed to.
I think
every
they
episode needs
should
to be more like
have
that.
done
They should have started
a
like that.
buddy comedy cop show.
I agree.
Yeah.
They should have done 21 Jump Street set back
Set in the
time,
40s
set in the
with
40s
Peggy and Jarvis.
with Peggy and Jarvis, with them just getting into shenanigans.
Yeah.
Because again,
Yeah.
it comes to my point from last week of we know what happens to both of them.
So making it like more of like a drama is kinda
Making
like,
it a
it's
drama-
not- it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then also
It's hard for us to really care.
And
Yeah.
being on a network, it makes the networks for comedies are a little bit better than the dramas.
Yeah, because you can't go
the
as
big
dark
networks,
with
Yeah.
especially the ABCs,
Right.
NBCs
Yeah.
of the world. It's easier to get a comedy love.
Yeah, and no, I don't think that they should have gone all comedy with no serious
yeah,
part
yeah,
stakes.
yeah.
But
'Cause
I
I
mean,
do
I
like
think
I
this
like-
last episode was the perfect example.
Yeah.
It was
a
mostly
perfect
comedic.
blend.
And it still nailed, except for the love triangle, it still nailed the really serious moments.
And it's still. I mean, the show is fun, and it's why we all tune into it because it's a fun show to watch. But like,
They could lean more into that.
They can lean more into the banter between the two of them is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And especially when you throw Howard into the mix, I
The
love
painting
it.
of Howard.
Yeah, the painting of Howard that she almost shoots in the face is
That one is
great.
that's good enough too.
That's probably that would probably be my
Yeah, I agree.
if we had gone back in time and been like, hey guys, you should do this.
All right, so our next question is from Tybalt262 on Twitter, who wants to know, what do you think the Netflix Iron Fist show will be like?
Okay, so
Definitely way different from the last two.
yeah, well, so I don't
as
know if
Dark.
anybody has seen them, but there have been a couple auditions on Vimeo that have leaked.
Yeah.
Or not Vimeo. Yeah, Vimeo.
Yeah, Vimeo.
For the codename Kick, which is what they're calling Iron Fist. And the character names are changed.
Yeah.
But just from what
from the
they're reading,
breakdown.
it's pretty obvious which characters are which. And
Well, he's supposed to be 30-ish in the
Yeah,
show.
20s or
He's-
30s.
He's supposed to be late 20s, early 30s.
But-
'Cause I looked into auditioning for that too.
Did you really?
Yeah, I'm not old enough, which is
Oh,
why
okay.
I didn't get the audition because it's like I can't. But,
Flashbacks.
Sorry, keep going.
But okay, so anyway, the way that from the scenes that I've seen from those auditions, it looks like it's going to be kind of a corporate boardroom drama.
Yeah.
Where Danny Rand tries to get like back in charge of his company after disappearing for like 10 years,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah. So I actually think it's going to be kind of like the first season of Arrow.
Yeah.
Where Oliver
Oh, I
Queen comes back
totally
from
agree
this
with
island
that.
after being gone for
There's
5
gonna
years.
be a lot of flashbacks and
There will be flashbacks. There will
I
be
like
mystery
it.
around
Yeah.
what happened to him. He'll be a badass superhero.
Yeah.
But also, he'll be in charge of this company. Or
Yeah.
trying to be in charge of this company.
and see what happens. I like that.
I would love to see a Netflix version of Arrow.
Right, because
Yeah.
I think, I mean, again, not the DC show, but Arrow, we watch Arrow. We enjoy sometimes Arrow.
Yeah, I guess.
We used to enjoy
I
it
enjoyed
a lot more than we do
Yes,
now.
Yes.
Season 4 has been okay. Season 3 was bad, but season 1 and 2 were really, really good.
We're great.
And
I'm looking forward to seeing something like that again. If that's
yeah,
what Iron
I
Fist
would like
is
to see that
definitely.
again, but because they were done on the CW, they were a little cheesy,
Yeah.
which is good. I love
It's
that
the
about the
CW.
Flash.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
lean
CW.
into that
Flash,
cheesiness,
Arrow.
but to see that taken a little bit more seriously,
Yeah.
done better.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination of Arrow and something like Mr. Robot. Their boardroom
Haven't watched it
scenes
yet.
where it's a little more serious and not Rami Malek's character, but the other guy whose name I forget, is a little more on edge all the time.
Okay.
Because like the thing with the Arrowverse is like again the stakes are CW stakes. Great. There's pretty girls every episode, and like that happens.
Everybody's CW pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
Role models.
And this is gonna be more Netflix, so it's
And in New York.
It's going to be darker. It's going to be in New York. I definitely think there's going to be a lot of grit to it, like there is, because otherwise he can't come into the Defenders.
Yeah.
There's going to be that grit that's been in Daredevil, Jessica Jones, that will be in Luke Cage.
Will be more of the lighter of at least the
yes.
TV
Oh yes. Of the four of the four of the Defenders, he's probably going to be the jokester.
I'd agree with you.
Especially with that costume.
Because also Daredevil and Jessica Jones really are serious. So is Luke, from what we see.
Well, I mean, Jessica Jones has a sense of humor, but it's not exactly
dark.
light.
It's dark, and I think he'll be a little more in the Tony Stark route of.
That's a good.
That's a really good comparison, actually.
Cool. So
right.
that's what we think about what Netflix Iron Fist might be like, and it'll be funny to watch a year from now and see
we get more
whether or not
information.
we're right.
And hopefully we'll have some crossovers with other characters in it.
I think we'll see Jerry Hogarth.
Jerry Hogarth is in it. Yeah.
Really? I read that rumor, but
I thought it was
assumed
confirmed.
she was
I think
gonna
she
be
got
in it.
cast. I think it's
I mean,
it's a for sure
you can kind of
thing.
assume that she's going to be in it.
Yeah.
But I would also like to see someone else also, but whatever. Our next question is from Matteo Pirovano on Twitter, and his question is, in your opinion, will Coulson's shield be shown in Civil War?
Nope.
No.
See, I disagree.
Really?
Well, maybe not his shield, but I think he will be in Civil War at least a tiny
No,
bit.
he's not going to be in Civil War.
I think so. Because
how do you explain
I will bet you money right now, $5.
I'm not taking this
I don't $5, but when Civil War comes around,
you will have $5.
I'm going to remember and be like, "Where's my $5?" No, you have to take this bet.
No, I think especially because we can put it up to a viewer poll if we want.
Yes.
Guys, I want to win
comment
$5.
or tweet us. Let us know. Do you think Coulson will be in Civil War?
I'm losing this argument so badly.
How do they explain how he's alive?
No, not even Coulson. Coulson's shield. That's the question. Is not Coulson's
So you think like Daisy or Fitzsimmons?
No.
You said Coulson was going to show up.
I did say Coulson is going to show up.
So
I think you cannot talk about the Registration Act without mentioning S.H.I.E.L.D. and without talking about what it is turned into, because frankly it is still in the universe.
But it might be mentioned. I don't think we'll see it, because I think the mastermind behind the Sokovia Accords is going to be Thunderbolt Ross, who he's now either Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense.
Yeah.
I think he's Secretary of State.
Oh, so if you think it comes from the U.S. government?
Yeah, it's going to be U.S. government kind of spearheaded.
Yeah, but I think they're going to be like, hey, this is what went wrong with S.H.I.E.L.D.
It'll say one thing about S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's
they
not
might
going to
mention
show. It's
S.H.I.E.L.D.,
not
but
going
they're
to
not
show.
fair.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, I'll agree with that. I'm wrong.
That was the question. It was like, is it going to be shown? And it is not.
Great.
Okay, what's next?
Our final question today comes from Tor Berggren on Facebook, who wants to know, will be the first character created for TV or who had their first appearance on TV that will show up in a movie?
We've already talked about this a little bit when we were talking about the Inhuman script.
I'd probably say Daisy.
It's gonna be Daisy. It's gonna be the Inhumans. I don't know if Daisy will necessarily be the first, because we might show Death of One as the intro to the movie.
Right.
But
it's just hard to say. It's so far.
But also
out.
It's so far out. Also, though, they're clearly using the Inhumans. I mean, there's already an Inhumans movie slated in their lineup.
Right.
It is gonna be one of them, and I think we've probably already seen them on screen.
You think so?
I don't think. I think they're
because I think the Inhumans movie. Yeah, I think the Inhumans movie is going to be
about like the
royal family.
Yeah.
Right. I think so too.
Yeah, that might be true, but I think it's the lead-in. They'll use. They might use one of the ones we've seen.
Someone stated that there's not going to be a lot of crossover.
Clark Gregg.
Yeah.
Clark Gregg has said that they're pretty much doing their own thing with the Inhumans.
Yeah.
And the movies will just kind of.
Well, and
there'll be a
I do have to say, I think that's because the show doesn't have the ratings they want it to have. I think if the show had better ratings,
the show. I mean, the show is doing decent. It's fine.
Decent.
It's a pretty safe bet for renewal. But yeah, certainly if fewer people watch those, then we'll watch the Inhumans movie.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd like to see Kingpin. I think he'd make a great villain for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And we know Vincent D'Onofrio can act in.
That's TV. Oh, well then
I wasn't counting the Netflix shows.
I was truly just thinking of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't know if we'll ever see Matt Murdock or Jessica Jones or Luke Cage show up.
It is in Charlie Cox's contract that if he has to appear in a movie, he has to do it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's
but that also might also be a safety safe
if they
bet.
want him, it doesn't mean they'll ever use him. But yeah, you're right.
And the other thing about him though is he is a movie actor before he's done TV.
Right.
He was
If you look at Stardust,
fantastic in
Theory of Everything.
Yeah.
So
I
we
fell in
know,
love with
and
him.
I mean Stardust, he's the lead in that.
Right.
Take it, that movie is old now, but he can carry a film if we choose to have Daredevil, and by we I mean Kevin Feige chooses to have. I don't know why I include myself in this.
We decided.
We're choosing it all. But if Kevin Feige says, you know what, the charisma he's got on screen, the way Daredevil's been received, he might show up as well.
I agree, but I just think Kingpin was set up so wonderfully.
Yeah.
Unless they return to him in the Defenders or Daredevil season 3,
Right.
he's sort of away from the Defenders universe, but he just kind of had his origin story in season 1.
Yeah.
I think if he comes back as full-fledged Kingpin in a Spider-Man movie, I think he'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I could see
And
it
then
happening
again,
for
Spider-Man.
sure.
The thing with Spider-Man is, in the comics, he has so many great villains.
True.
Like he has such a slate of villains to go
That they
up
can
against.
just use, like they've.
Look, they're not going to use the Green Goblin again.
Not for a while,
Again. And they're probably not going to use Doc Ock as well.
Or Electro, or...
They won't use
They won't use
any
the more
of
recent
what
ones
was
for
supposed
sure.
to become the Sinister Six movie.
Paul Giamatti's Rhino.
Yeah. I love Paul Giamatti, but wow.
He
That
was
was
so
that
bad.
was just
Wow.
sadness. on that.
We're not going to just
Anyway,
crap
My
on
thing
other
is,
things.
I'm thinking they're probably going to use D'Onofrio for the Defenders.
Yeah, could be.
Also, because D'Onofrio's scheduling, it might be hard to get him in to a 8-month shooting schedule. Just because-
Maybe, but who at this point, who in their right mind would say no to an
that's
MCU
very
movie?
true.
Yeah.
Well, D'Onofrio chooses some strange projects. He is
You're
a
right.
little bit of a character, but
But
he's
If they got him in Jurassic World, they could get him in
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
that's-
I think he's probably the highest contender, and then probably Charlie Cox underneath that.
yeah.
But I do think that maybe some of the Inhumans from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could
And,
wind up
like,
showing up. But I think the Netflix are...
They have a higher
I just
chance
think
for sure.
the question is which comes
Or-
first. I think the Inhumans, just because the movie's already slated for 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's-
Spider-Man's before that though, so.
Oh,
What
yeah,
about
that's true.
What about in a flashback, Jarvis?
Oh my gosh, with like a little baby Tony Stark.
with baby Tony Stark. Because I think Tony was
he
born
dropped-
in 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
So unless it goes on for 20 seasons, or
Which it's
unless it
not.
jumps forward 20
Yeah.
years, we're never going to see baby Tony in Agent Carter.
oh, baby Tony.
But there's nothing to say we couldn't do a flashback
Yeah,
with
that's
5-year-old
true.
Tony and like an
And like
older
aged
Jarvis.
up.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That's my dream. I want to see. Oh.
That would be the
And there was
biggest
that-
tragedy if Agent Carter gets canceled. There would be no more Jarvis.
Well, there was
I
also
know.
that he
I love him.
there was a line he said either this week or last week where he was like, "I don't just want to be a voice." Did you catch
when he
that?
set up the security system?
Yeah, and he was like, "I just don't want to be a voice," and it was like, great.
Right.
Love that little Easter egg.
I love him.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that's the end of our fan questions.
Yep.
Again, keep sending them into
Great.
the Twitter, the Facebook, the YouTube page,
Yes.
wherever you can.
We'll
get
take
them to
questions
us.
from anywhere.
Yeah. So that is the end of this week's episode of MCUEx, everybody. If you like what you saw, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and check out MCUExchange.com for up-to-the-minute updates on everything related to the MCU. I'm Addie Bree Hayes,
I'm Jeremy Stewart.
And I'm Doug Herring.
and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.